Good morning. How'd you get on yesterday? Did you spot the 20-minute ruler here? Ka-ching, if you did. 3 goals before half time. Wow. You're looking at upwards of a 9-1, 10-1 return there. Not too shabby at all. Red card didn't affect the match, as you can see there. Genoa and Cagliari. Let's have a look at the standings. The importance of this match. Cagliari are still stuck. I think they've got a good 1-1 against Monza recently. You see that there. Trying to accumulate points, and they're doing a good job. Albeit losing yesterday, but they are, thanks to that draw from Udinese, they're still alive. Cagliari, 3 points ahead, with matches running out in the relegation dogfight. Genoa, well, a win's not going to get them anywhere. I don't think they'll be breaking into the top 7. 13 possible points and matches running out. No real trade there yesterday, neither in the Eerste Divisie, although we had 1 over 2.5 goals. We didn't have both teams to score, alas. La Liga, Barcelona-Valencia, normally a derby-style match, and yet again, 3-0, 3-1, any other home score. So we've got any other home score there yesterday for a shorty. So the market getting that right, and we had a possible play there yesterday. Look at all this at half-time. Plenty for you to get stuck in with. Now, I know people like Stephen Francis in the live stream will point out the goal type penalty, which is a correct thing to do. That should increase your confidence in taking on Valencia. The 1-2 lead, get in before half-time. Then you can take advantage of anything that happens prior to the half-time whistle, such as a red card, which is the equivalent in the way it changes the price as a goal. Just lost my words there for a second. So Mamardashvili's red card really came to the rescue. You would have got an actual green out, a green screen before halftime if you wanted it, without a goal being scored. But weigh up the amount of time left in the match. There's a whole second half to go. Barcelona are at home, etc., etc. Well, they're playing at the Stadio Olimpico Luis Companys rather than the Nou Camp. But off we go. Robert Lewandowski. What a brilliant second half from the pole. So job done. Nice simple trade, that one. Where I hope you would have stayed in. Hope you would have firstly got involved in the first half and hopefully stayed in for the second half. Do weigh up matches on their individual bases rather than having a pre-fixed rule trying to apply to all. That doesn't work with trading, does it? You have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. Second half remaining against 10 men, you'd be backing that Barcelona, wouldn't you, second half? The Allsvenskan still very young in the season. Very strong over 2.5 goal pattern there yesterday. Elfsborg getting a win, which they deserved. Red card, did it impact the match? No, 97th minute red. So this was a return to form for the Elf. Sirius are in a spot of bother. Having trouble scoring. They failed to score against Varnamo recently as well. They've only scored a single goal against Bromma. So it's not very good stuff. Failed to score against Djurgården. So they're going to have to solve this problem because it's 3 defeats in 4 for Sirius. You have to get serious about getting someone up front who can actually stick the ball in the back of the net. Those were the main matches yesterday. And as I mentioned at Football Trading Profits, let's not forget the tennis. Let's have a quick look at yesterday's tennis. Probably in Madrid still. So take your first cue from the market. 1.53, job done. 1.5, losing the first set. This would have been a good one. I think I can trust Daniil Medvedev. He's the kind of player you could trust. Well, he did battle that second set. So Korda was a tad unlucky there. But a very battling performance from Medvedev. Rafa, no problem really. Still coming off back off injury, but he's still, the class is permanent, isn't it, really? So nothing much doing for these. Looks like the market's getting these right, which is good news for traders, isn't it? The market's getting them right, and they lose the first set, and you can have a go. Haddad Maia against Sakkari. Sakkari normally reliable, but a bit like her Greek friend Tsitsipas. Bit of a dodge pot in this one, but 14th against 6th. It's not necessarily a huge gap in the ATP rankings, which is something you have to factor in. And again, what I would do potentially to stave off a high liability play is to wait for the first service game of Sakkari. If she loses it, then we would pounce. We need to find point by point. That's it. Point by point, set 2. That's Sakkari. Well, she won the first service match. She lost that one there. So arguably, you could have had a go there in laying Haddad Maia at even shorter odds, a set and a break up. We'll just limit your liability. And just looks like a poor day for Sakkari. We'll get used to these stats eventually. But is there anything pointing? I know Paul got into contact with me yesterday with some excellent golfing, tennis stats angles. So thank you very much for that, Paul. So looking at any weakness for Sakkari yesterday. Well, a lot of break points. 9 possible break points she had against her yesterday. That's poor stuff. 62% first serve, 35% second serve. Awful. That's something you might want to use if you're looking deeper into tennis. Target second service games for the ladies. You'd have got 2/3 correct. So I wonder if that would have produced an eventual profit if you're laying all second service games in the ladies' game here. So that could be a possible angle, couldn't it? Service points won, 60%. Very low percentage, really. So interesting stuff. But very tight rankings. Ostapenko, well, again, this is one of your 1.8 even Stevens, and this suggests there was possible injury concerns for Ostapenko. Iga Swiatek tends to win everything. That's absolute dominant display. 1.3 dropping the first set. Fellow Americans as well, so that should improve your chances that Corey Goff can get back in the second set. Because they're going to know each other's games, these two. So on a positive note, taking on a 1.3 favourite against a fellow countrywoman might get you something as well. 1.57, winning the first set, that's all I'm really looking for. And again, losing the first set, Sabalenka winning the second, winning the third. So off we go there. So some plays yesterday. Getting the semblance of a kind of a system working where I'd like to delay entry in the second set until confirmation that the player is set down is either winning her service games or she's lost one of the first two, like Sakkari. And then you can get involved again at even lower odds. Keep your liability as low as possible. It's always a battle for liability, isn't it? For controlling that liability. Today, it's very, very quiet. I'm afraid you won't be hearing from me this evening. I'm not staying up to 2 a.m. for the sake of 2 matches. This will give you a good opportunity yourself to test your trading mettle. And indeed, you don't have to trade, don't forget. If there isn't an angle, don't trade. Don't try to push it. This is a Champions League first leg. Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. It's extremely difficult to read. Bayern Munich, strange to see them here after their woeful season in the Bundesliga. But they seem to be getting on top just at the right time. But it's very, very difficult to read. Please do read the preview. I've précised it for you and included Soccerway.com's preview as well. I'm not sure you'll gain anything out of it. You might get a correct scorer play, perhaps. Rodrigo, older Sir Harry of Kane. Coventry and Ipswich. 1.83. What we need to do first with Coventry and Ipswich is just unpack the need for a result. So let's work our way through there to the English Championship standings, do a bit of Carol Vorderman maths, and off we go. Coventry, I think, have been a little done by that cup run, which has distracted them here with those 3 defeats, I think. So they're currently in 9th place, some 8 points shy of a promotion place. And they've got a game in hand, so they've got to take advantage of this game in hand, get to 67. You'll be knocking on the door if the Baggies or Norwich capitulate. Who are they playing? Ipswich. Ipswich, well, they've got one eye on automatic promotion. It's not done yet. There's no arrow. Leicester are up, but Leeds and Ipswich arguably in the squabble for that second precious automatic promotion spot. And Ipswich have the clear advantage. They have a game in hand. So notable that they must take advantage of this. Coventry's emotional FA Cup matches against Premier League opposition may be costing them promotion playoff place. That's what you have to weigh up with a cup run. Would you want a cup run, or would you want a chance of a playoff promotion to the Premier League? I know what I'd prefer, but Mark Robins obviously fancied that cup run, and they did perform admirably. You know, Coventry have very late goals in them, so if this is 0-1 to Ipswich late on, you might want to lay that. They showed amply against against Wolves and against Man United that they've got this late goal habit. And as you can see, just looking through all the rest of the football, only the 2 matches today. AVS, possibly worth following in the La Liga 2. Pacos Ferreira Rocher, normally a top flight side, but they're stumbling a little. AVS have got their eye. They've got a game in hand again. They've got their eye on automatic promotion. Santa Clara look to be going straight back up, which they'll be delighted about. Nacional from Funchal, from Madeira, old Ronnie's place of birth. Wonder if Nacional, if they go into the top flight, would get Ronnie for a season, maybe. Pacos Ferreira Rocher, the ambassador's favourite team, well, must start getting a win, but I don't think they'll be able to break into the top 3. It's a very tough league to get out of, isn't it? Only 3 places available. No playoff places here. Only the 3 places. Very, very difficult to get out of. But AVS should have the bit between their teeth. Might be worth your following at 7:45. So have a great evening this evening. I'm sorry I won't be following it. As you can understand, with only 2 matches, it gives you an opportunity for you to flex your trading muscles. They're all kicking off at the same time, so it's going to be a nice, useful use of time. Good luck if you are playing this evening. I'll certainly return tomorrow to see if there are any trading angles that you could have had. Skövde and Oddevolt is a little too early in the Super Ettan season, but you can have a quick look in the head-to-heads at recent form patterns. And it's far too early. Win, draw, loss, win. Win, draw, loss, win. Identical form for both of these 2 sides. We do have 3 2-1 scorelines for Oddevolt already this season. Is that a possibility of both teams to score today, given Sundsvall did get both teams to score against Skövde? But Skövde look a little lax up front, don't they? 1-0-1-1. 2. So they'll score 2 goals twice. I think if Skövde score first, Skövde might be layable. But basing your decisions on 4 matches played, the foundation is not that strong, is it? Well, have a great day this evening. Hopefully you'll find a trade or 2, but don't forget, as a trader, you don't have to trade if there's no trading angle. Got to remember that. Looking at Madrid today, I'm not going to do any research. Daniel Medvedev coming through yesterday. Bublik, I think he came through against a 1.36 favourite yesterday, so he'll be delighted with that. Lost the first set, won the second, won the third. against a 1.36 favourite. You might be giving Medvedev something to think about this evening, or this afternoon, this morning. Taylor Fritz, Taylor Fritz, I tend to like. If he loses the first set, I would have a degree of confidence that he'll at least battle that second set. Alexander Zverev, been a little mentally unstable of late. His meltdown in Munich. You've got to be careful. When it's a mano v mano, or womano v womano, or they, them, non-gender, binary, non-fluid, lesbian, ex-Muslim versus gender-fluid, non-binary, ex-Muslim, then just be a little careful, because they've only got themselves to look after, and if they're a little mentally or had a little bit of a breakdown recently, as Zverev did in Munich, his head might not be there. So that could suggest possibly gettable at 1.22. Jannik Sinner looks very reliable. Karen Khachanov can win a set at his best. Struff could produce an interesting match. He tends to come alive at this part of the year. He's had already some interesting results when he's not expected to. And 24th in the world is, I didn't realise he was 24th, to be honest with you. But he's playing Alcaraz. Good luck with that one. But look at this recent run from Struff. And he's beaten some really solid units as well. Taylor Fritz, Rune, Alga Elisiem. It's very good stuff. So if you're looking at value, you've got to be laying Alcaraz, or even better, laying Alcaraz win the first set. So this might give you some pre-match angle in. Rafa Nadal, the reason he's 1.91 is probably that injury concern. 512th in the world rankings, ignore that completely. Lehecka, top 30. But he is the clay king, Rafa. So glass half full, 1.91 can be very tempting to back pre-match. Or if you think that he might get higher odds in play, back him then. But can you trust Rafa coming off the back of injury? He is on clay. He is Spaniard in Spain. He's going to have the support of the home support. It's a 30. It's the marquee match. Swiatek, the world number one, your usual shorty. It's gone up from 1.03 yesterday. That does suggest normally a 6'2", 6'3", that kind of thing. Madison Keys and Ons Jabeur, this is a bit tighter. So take your cues from the market pre-match. And good luck. If you're trading the tennis, it's certainly something I'm going to be switching focus on once the elite leagues are finished for the end of April. I've got a whole raft of tennis writings to work through, to put into some semblance of order and pass on to you, which I hope you'll find useful. It is an excellent sport, but we just need to get used to it. We seem to have the football nailed, but tennis is 1v1, and as I've alluded to with Zverev, even if there's just a slight concern with a little bit of a hissy fit in Zurich, in Munich, for example, is that going to get over to this? It's like golf. If you're just not there mentally, you've got no one else, it's just you. And that could be the problem for Zverev today. So do look at these potential angles. Do read the previews as well. They might give you a clue as to recent injuries. And I think there was a way for you to look at recent injuries, which Paul thankfully passed on to me. I think you click on the player's name, you get a better look at the player's profile, and you'll get some news as well. So this can alert you to any injuries if there's a gap in tournaments. So as many stats as possible. There we go, injury history. That's excellent. Thank you very much, Paul, for passing this on. So this can give you a great clue, can't it? So you might want to start creating a kind of research template where injuries will play a major part as well. Let's have a look. Anyone here recently had injuries? Let's have a look at Rafa. So we go down you'll see he's been out with a hip injury 13th of April until the 13th of April. So that's why you're getting 1.91 about Rafa today. Quite superb. And muscle injury, hip injury, it's, I think, the clock is catching up with him, old Mother Time. But he's done all right, hasn't he? He's going to be okay for his retirement, I think. He's won a couple of quid on the tour, so he'll be delighted with that. Only a cool 18 million euro from the French Open. And that's tournament prize money. I was going to say, my God, the lad's done tremendous. So watch out, coming off the back of an injury. So if you see these players with unrealistic ATP rankings, it's because they'll have had an injury. Well, have a great Tuesday. No apologies from me for not being around this evening. You can understand, only 2 matches, 2 a.m. start, ain't going to happen. And it's going to be the similar story, I think, Wednesday, unless we have other matches to help us out. Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain. Great to see Dortmund so deep in the competition. 2 German sides, Dortmund and Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Leverkusen in the Europa League. It's very strong Bundesliga at the moment. Looks a quiet day tomorrow as well, doesn't it? We've got not got much to think about, really. Zulte Waregem and Dienza Patro Eisden. No, thank you. Sturm Graz in the Cup against Rapid Vienna. Or is it? I'm not sure if it is Rapid Vienna. But as you can see, it's going to be a quiet day tomorrow. So you won't be hearing much from me this week, I don't think. That's just the way the dice fall. So I think we'll be back. Well, Serie B. Just going to check with Serie B. It's probably not going to be the last match of the season because they're not kicking off at the same time. But watch out for the final day of the season. We'll be following them. Serie B, Spanish La Liga 2, Turkish League 1. These second tier leagues. So as long as they've got live standings, we'll be able to follow them. But as you can see tomorrow, it's going to be a very quiet day as well. Just really one marquee match, and that's the Champions League first leg. Incredibly difficult to unpack. But you just got that inkling that Dortmund are vulnerable. They were leading against Bayer Leverkusen recently and got done by a very late goal. And you got Kylian Mbappe up front for Paris Saint-Germain. They could pay the price. So I think Dortmund are underdog against PSG over the 2 legs. 2.38 the favourite tells you it's a one-off affair. It's very tough to call. Thursday we've got the Europa League and the Europa Conference League. And we've got the London Derby, Chelsea and Spuds. Tottenham, really good performance against Arsenal. I don't know why they were asking for Postecoglou's job. We're playing in Arsenal, keeping clean sheets, and you scored 2 against them. So I thought it was an excellent performance. Let's not mention the 3 conceded, though. Europa League, Roma, Leverkusen, Marseille, Atalanta. Moving our way down. Again, it's another quiet night. So it just looks like this week is going to be very quiet until probably Friday, where we get set alight with another set of league matches. Problem is, now this is going to be the sandwich weekend, pre and post Champions League, pre and post Europa League, pre and post Europa Conference League. So some of these sides are going to be affected. Luton and Everton, relegation 6-pointer-ish. Although Luton are done, I think, with Everton. Safe as houses, I think. So there shouldn't be any problem. Well, Everton might be switching off, might allow Leicester in. But if you read the preview will come soon, and it will highlight. So we've got 3 matches left. 25 plus 9 is 34. Everton are safe from harm. Simple as that. 3 nines, 3 threes are 9. 25 plus 9 is 34. Everton cannot be caught by the third part of the relegation group. So it's a dead rubber for Everton. It's a must-win for Luton. Their squabble for this final relegation places with Nottingham Forest and Burnley. So it's going to be fascinating. Brentford can't be caught either. So a 3-match dogfight, must win for Luton. Might do it. Everton might psychologically switch off. So we'll come to that later. The video's getting a bit long now. Have a great evening. You won't be hearing from me this evening. Only 2 matches. Probably not going to hear from me tomorrow either. That's just the way it goes. But I'll be back and creating green screens for you as I did all last week and at the weekend. So look forward to that. Have a great evening and good luck with your trading.